Hello, everyone, and welcome to Effect House Office Hour, where we'll be answering all your questions about Effect House in the next 30 minutes. We welcome all your technical questions, and I can see that Lydia has asked a few questions. Thank you, Lydia. Hi, Haley. Hi, Demuki, Lydia, Nicholas, and Sacha. Hello. Today, I'm accompanied by Qinyu, one of our technical managers. Qinyu, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hey everybody, you guys probably see me in previous lives. So today help Mingus here, but I saw some of the questions already. So today we're gonna be really physics and math related. So yeah, let's get ready.
Let's get started. Before we get ready, though, I have two big announcements to make.
Okay.
So, yesterday, we exited beta. So, you might have seen the blog post about Effect House exiting beta, which means like throughout the year and a half that we've launched Effect House publicly, we've garnered about 21 billion videos. And these 21 billion videos have accumulated 8.6 trillion views globally. So you can really see like your contribution in the community, and we've had a really vibrant community. And thanks for being here. On top of that, another exciting update is the 3.1 release. It's releasing 100% today, so it'll all be available to you. And if you haven't seen what's new on 3.0, go ahead and check it out on our blog. Yeah, okay, without further ado, let's attack some of these questions. First one is from Lydia. Lydia has a question about floor, and she's asking. Apparently, the floor node is asking for a parameter type A. What is this type A?
Yeah, so to answer this, you guys can Carol help to share the screen here? It's already shared, right? Okay. So as you can see, like this floor, if you click on this little icon here, you can see like it basically to help round down the input value. Um, so this A is basically the value you want to round down. So you put it here, and it will round it down to something else. So let's say I can use like 12.3 maybe, and we can give her peak to see what number it rounded up. So the output of the floor is actually 12. So yeah, so basically you can just input any values that comes out from your previous calculation, and the result will give you a roundup value. So you can use in the later operations. Yeah, hope that answer your question. So this is not like a tab. I think it's probably some writing improvement here, but it just basically input any number you want to round up. Yeah, that's my answer. What's the next one, Vanessa?
Yeah, so Game Plus 40 has shared this question earlier on our forum. Remember, you can always ask technical questions on our forum at any time. And his first question is, I accidentally added a subgraph into the add node custom
Oh,
section, but I can't duplicate the same again. How do we add the subgraphs into our own library without having to import them every time? For example, he uses the scoreboard a lot, but have to import the subgraphs every time. And how do we add
mhm.
them? Mhm.
Yeah, I think I just saw somebody mention there's some question for the previous
That's okay. Yeah,
question.
let's.
Yeah, I can answer a little bit. I was
Mhm.
actually unable to enter the variable value for A. So that's interesting because I just make sure the input is a number, not something else. So we have different data type. We have, let's say, vector 3, vector 2. We have number, flow number, color as their input. So just make sure that you're using number here or using the flow number here. Yeah. Yeah, if you need any kind of additional, if you have any additional questions or if you feels like it's a bug, feel free to give us a feedback in our forum. And also, let me answer the subgraph issue. So I'm gonna point you guys to some of our learn resources. So basically, if you go to our guides and you search customer node, and you should be able to find this guide called node information. And here, basically, we give some of their like guidance regarding like how to create a subgraph and how to edit it and how to basically create it as an asset. And so I guess for who ask this question, you use this method, create a subgraph asset, and you re-import it. So we actually have a new method to save it to node library. So this one basically means you can reuse it every time you open the new House project. So what you can do is, let's say I can show you here briefly. Let's just group a few nodes and create a subgraph. Um, and you right click it and jump to save to node library. So now you see it's actually successfully add to the node library. And now next time when you add nodes, you will see there is a customer like at the top. So basically you can select this subgraph you just added in and re-add it in there. And you can also like added all this kind of value here, like input value and output value here. And it will automatically generate a description for this subgraph you created. So personally, sometimes I will go to our asset library, and so we have a bunch of good subgraph here, but I don't really like want import it from here every time. So I will just basically download it, and I will edit it over, drag it over to the video scripting panel. I will do some editing here. And after I finish the editing, I will just simply add it to the node library so that I can easily use it every time I open the house. Yeah, so hopefully this answer can help you. So yeah, so this is how to create your custom nodes. And Vanessa, maybe we can go to the next question.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you for showing that, Qinyu. That was really good. And yes, the learning resources is always there available to help.
Just need to
And the
learn how
next
to search
question,
it.
yeah, on physics, specifically the acceleration controller and the velocity controller. So there are input values that says current acceleration and new acceleration, as well as current velocity and new velocity. However, I cannot find the get acceleration nor the get velocity from the inspector panel. How do I pull in this
Mm.
data, connect them in the acceleration controller and the velocity controller nodes?
Yeah, so for these questions, basically, I think something I want to show you guys is like is for I'm not sure like how you understand the concept of velocity. So basically, it is how you calculate the speed of the object movement. So by speed, I mean like imagine. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, what happened to my? Something weird happened. Let me try to find. So let's say you have a sphere in the scene, right? And you are moving it from this point to this point, like you're moving it up. And basically, let's say you spend 1 minute or 1 second to move it. It has different speed. So basically, for that node, you need to make sure that you define the velocity, or you calculate, you use certain node. You could use our math node to output a value that represent the velocity value. So you cannot actually using this controller to calculate the value here, but you can use it to control the speed of the object movement. So by speed, I mean, let's say, uh, I actually set it up a simple note here, like to help you understand what does that mean. So basically, by the sphere, if you go to the transform and you click on this little dot here, you can actually get or set the transfer for it, because I already add the set transfer in there, so you won't see it in this menu here. So it won't show up here as set transfer for this sphere. Uh, Set transfer basically is just move the object like to another position. But you can do that, let's say, um, you can directly do that. Let's say I just start and you already see it moving, right? So I can just get rid of all this stuff, this linkage, and make it a little bit larger. So if you just move it, let me disable the rigid body here. So you can basically give it new position, and once it start, it will just jump to this position. And but if you want to move it over time, let's say, let me just get rid of this stuff. You can just use translate by time. So this actually define, like, if you want to move this object from the initial position to the final position, how long you want it, like how quickly you want to move it. So here I define it as 3 seconds. You can just basically input the current sphere position, link it over here, and also you can add a note. Let me add our update notes, so that it will start. And then you can, after you set everything up, you can start the migrations here. Okay. Oh, so you see what is missing? So we don't really define the new position here. What you can do is you use the uh, current value. So basically, this node will calculate the position value by frame. So you just output it over here. You see the sphere is actually slowly moving. So by changing this time, you actually get the chance to change the velocity, and but essentially it is a value that you can control. And so we provide these velocity nodes that you can, in a more complex settings, you can use it to directly decide like the velocity you want. So for example, you want the sphere move 1 meter in 1 second, then the velocity is 1. So you want to speed it up, then you can say it's 2. So you can just using this single value to control how quickly this object moves. So this is just like a simple peek on how to use such physics nodes. You probably noticed that we have many physics nodes you can control. Not only their velocity, but also force, but also acceleration. So the couples, it basically is a different way to control the speed and how you want to move your object. So if you have like certain physics understanding, you can pick the node you feel comfortable with to use. But yeah, I won't be able to cover really in depth right now, but hopefully we can have an in-depth tutorial coming in the near future around this topic. If you feel interested in understanding more, stay tuned. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Qinyu. Hope that helps Ko with your physics question. For anyone who didn't get to watch the Creator Hour last week, Ko showed us how he created his Stack Your Game effect. So that tutorial will be out in the next few weeks. Tune in to see how you can actually really use physics to maximize your capabilities on making effects on Effect House. We have a new joiner today. There is Adi Satrio and as well as, um, oh, sorry, and Sasha Luhan. And Adi has a few feature requests. Adi, you can go to our forum at community.effecthouse.com to put in those to suggest those feature requests, and then people can upload it. And that way, we'll get that. We'll prioritize those features for our upcoming releases. And one of your questions that is pretty okay. Is there any way to add and save material in the library?
Oh, for material, you mean import and export?
Yeah, how to save and export material.
Uh, Unfortunately, we don't like support export material right now. But if you are using any kind of 3D stuff, like it will import the materials, use whatever the 3D creation software you're using. But it's not like you need to still configure it in this tool in Effect House. So it's not fully supported right now. But yeah,
But
if you have any feedback to it, we'll come to listen to it and please
I think
provide it in
we
our
have a
community.
new, we have material, like a pretty rich material library to choose from as well, Adi. So today
Yeah.
with the 3.1 release, we have a material called the floating bubble and the zebra skin. So yeah, go ahead and try it out. The next
Yes,
question.
we have this many. I feel so like I just pick a few material, try it out, and apply to the model I created, and it could creating really surprising effects coming out of it. And also, good news, you can use material graph. So material graph, if you already like a material creator out there, like using some common like OpenGC kind of language, you can use our material graph to easily migrate your knowledge into the material graph we provided, create your customer material using nodes. We have all the nodes for all sorts of calculation. As long as you know how the lighting models works, you can just pick the nodes to do your materials. We also have some learning resources over there. Let's say you want to do a dissolve materials, you want to do a pixelated, something like standard PBRs and on lit. We also support it. So yeah, you basically can use this as a canvas to define your own materials in Effect House. Yeah.
That's a really useful tip. Um, so the next question come from Sasha. Hi, Sasha. First time seeing you here. Welcome, welcome. Is there a way to use the avatar body driver with makeup? Since in the performance test, it consumes a lot of performance impact. Will there be ways to use them together in the future?
Mm. So definitely the performance is something is always just need to keep in mind. So Avatar Drive is definitely consuming a lot of performance, but it definitely also case by case. So by makeup, if you let's say you want to apply some makeup, you can definitely try it, but I encourage you to use this feature called test performance to test whether your effect project can pass the performance test when you after you submitted it. So this basically simulate online testing environment to see whether your effects can smoothly running on low-end devices that TikTok support. So you can use it as a pre-test to see whether the performance can pass. Uh, so basically, you need to be very careful when using multiple performance heavy features. So I will say you can give it a try. Sometimes it works, but if you are using like really not like a lot of like a heavy mesh or something like that is not guaranteed. Or you if you are using a materials that need a lot of lighting shadowing calculation, it also reduce the free rate and it may cause you not pass that test. So yeah, just you feel free to try it out and always testing it and before you submitting.
Thank
Cool.
you to you. Mhm. Oh, going back to the questions, to Adi's question about the
Mm.
material, what he meant is he wants to export custom material and effect house to be used in other projects. Apparently, he created a bunch of custom shader and materials, and he wants to export them to be used on other projects, so he doesn't have to create it all over again every time. Is that something that's
Mm,
possible right now?
unfortunately, no. Yes. Yeah, not yet.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. Adi, like that's a really good suggestion. So please feel free to. You had so many good suggestions today. Please feel free to add those requests in the forum.
Yep.
And
Do we
the
want
next
to expand
question
the
is,
do we want to
sorry.
give the math node some explanation? Do you notice a question from somebody
Uh,
like asking the math related questions?
if Yeah, we could tackle that question, and then we have one more question from Mike Black Chat. So
Cool.
that the question about the math node is, I have always seen the following nodes in the Effect House templates, but do not know why they're being used. Can you quickly walk through the following run through on when and why we need to use those nodes? They are mainly from the math section. What is Radiant and how is that used? So some of these nodes are apps, sin, yeah, and other cool math. If you have any other cool math nodes that you could share, we would very much love to see that.
Okay, cool. I think this one definitely is we have for many of you guys probably noticed that we have a math category in the node library that covering a lot of basic operations of math. We have the apps, a cosine, add, assign, something like that. So these are covering every aspect of basic math calculations here. I want to just highlight something. So walk you guys. So this one is basically calculate absolute value, which means, for example, if I move this object from this 11 value to minus 11, their number will be like if I move this object, let me just show you guys more straightforwardly. Move it here from, you see the y value becomes 20 to minus 20 something, right? So the overall distance this object move is actually 40. So it actually involved you need to do some calculation, not only considering the positive value but also negative value. So in this cases, sometimes we only want to care about the the value, not whether it is positive or negative. So in this cases, sometimes you need to use these ABS apps to do the calculation, to get the absolute positive number. So absolute is just get rid of the minus sign from the number. Something actually, a large part of our math nodes is regarding the vector calculation. By vector calculation, I can actually give you guys a quick, very quick show. Is not sure this is the right.
So trigonometry does get used after high school.
Yeah, so it's a vector math is something like you probably learn from the physics school that that you need to know. Like there's a couple things like dot, cross is how you calculate like speed, how you calculate. It also heavily used in computer graphic that you need to check how you project an object on the other vector, and what's the distance, something like that. So there was a certain thing that used for this vector math is, let me highlight something for you, this cross, and also we have a dot. We actually, if you click into our node information, we actually provide the equation calculation here, so you will know like how it get calculated. So dot and cross is mostly used by the vector 3. By vector 3, So if you, let's say we gather position. Position is the typical example for vector street value. So this is something you can learn more in depth regarding how to use the vector math. Actually, vector math also heavily used in physics. So if you are using accelerator nodes, if you are using like velocity calculation and force, especially like you want to apply force to a 3D object, this could also be used. So something else, let me see. We do so other stuff like minimal max min like mod, like the floor is also like different operation for a number. Like you can round it down. You can also, I think somebody asked like what does that clamp node means. So this one is actually, let's say I have a value 110, but I want to clap it into 12. So it's actually something sometimes you used for screen projection. Let's say I want to project this object to this 2D screen coordinates, and this coordinates is 720 by something, and you want this y value change mapped to this y coordinates of the screen, uh, that screen y-axis value. You can use these nodes to do some projection calculation. Um, yeah, so there is really many use cases, and really love to actually schedule another time talk in depth on it. But also, meanwhile, you can check some of the our note. I think we have some article around the math nodes. So, for example, LERP is one of the very popular math node we're using to smooth the movement of an object. So we actually provide some examples here. You guys can check it out to learn how to use it. And we actually highlight a couple dots and cross calculation as well. Here is some example. You can check it out. Yeah. And let us know if you want to see more learn resources on such topic. Okay, hopefully that's should cover.
Yeah, we're almost at time. Just two last questions. I hope the first one is quick. Haley Cat Paws is asking whether eye inset is more performance heavy than face inset.
Oh, so that is a good question. So you mean by the face instead, right?
Yeah.
So basically it it's if you, let's say you use more like you have two mouse on the screen, it's definitely more performance cost. So basically it tells the camera to render two object. You can think like the more object you ask the computer to
Well,
render, it costs more performance. So definitely if you're using one eye, just render one eye is the least performance cost. But if you render the whole face, the whole mouth, eyes, everything, that's definitely cost more performance.
we all have two eyes, Qinyu. So it will. The answer is yes. Just confirming. And yeah, let's head to the last question from Mike Blackchat. Can you make an example on how to detect collisions?
Oh, detect collisions. Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick answer because this is a big topic. So if you go to
We
your
did a full
library,
tutorial.
go to your library. I tell you, go to this side scroller game from our beloved August. He made all these awesome projects. So in these cases, I think he provide a collision detection subgraph you can download, and you can learn more here. And he also provide a really thorough walkthrough videos at the very beginning. Yeah, check out our side scroller games. This tutorials. It has their, but the idea, the simple sentence. One idea is you need to detect whether these two objects is overlapping their position, and then you can say this is like collide, right? We actually also have collision event nodes that you can use. This is actually way more easier but you don't have much like customization space here, but you can still use it as a quick add. So you can just search this collider nodes. Uh, we actually have capsular collider based on different shape you're using, and check out more to learn how to use it.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end of office hour this week. Thank you so much for coming. I love the crowd today. Everyone's so engaged. Everyone asking questions. You have like really good feature requests. I can't wait to in 2 weeks. Please come back. Yeah. Can you do you have any closing statement?
Okay, hopefully you guys enjoy the math and physics part, and let's keep connecting on our forum. Ask
Yeah.
questions. Happy to answer there.
And if you haven't, you have to follow us on our socials at Effect House on TikTok, Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. If you couldn't really follow the tutorial because it was too fast or something, we will publish this office hour in the next few days. So definitely like follow our YouTube, and you'll be notified when this live is up as well. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Yeah,
Thank you.
I love this time with you. Bye.
Bye. See you guys soon.
Mhm.
Where's my oh